Let December 2020 be one to remember. Drive away with an Axio car from Predo Baby with 4 different options to win. Follow us on Facebook at Predo Baby South America. Predo Baby diaper is known for its premium quality and high absorbency level. It keeps your baby dry and comfortable with its stretchy waistband. Available in regular paste and pull-up pants style from newborn to stage 7. See press for details or contact us on 233-2473. Predo Baby, the diaper of the new generation.
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Hello and welcome to today's News at Noon that comes to you with the compliments of Predo Baby. Kevin Smith here. Before we get to our headlines, let's get to today's front page comment of the Kaieteur News. From blessing to burden. Our oil, which should have been a blessing, has become a burden. The numbers tell the story of shady dealings, covetous politicians, and cunning middlemen. From ExxonMobil Guyana would get approximately $200 million in 2020. But the bill from CGX for preliminary work on one dry well in the quarantine block is $155 million. CGX must really think that Guyanese are illiterates and idiots. They must be required to provide the evidence that they actually drilled a well. That $155 million must be fully scrutinized for possible overstated costs. It is the equivalent of renting an apartment for 50,000 Guyana dollars per month, but the tenant presents a bill for imaginary repairs for non-existent damages that he himself caused, totaling 60,000 Guyana dollars. As can be seen, on a net basis, the landlord is paying the tenant for living in the apartment. Now, think of the landlord as Guyana and the tenant or operator as CGX. CGX is the kind of tenant or operator that PPPC leaders saw fit to conduct our oil business. It is the same CGX that the APNU coalition was so impressed with that it gave it a 3-year extension. The way we look at it is that both the PPPC and the coalition are in bed with CGX. That $155 million confirms our suspicions. And now for the top stories we are tracking. Government gives no guarantees on implementing policy to slow down emptying of Guyana's oil basin. Source reveals ExxonMobil gets back part of Stabroek block it relinquished years ago. Dying watchman tells son to check security cameras. And in the Kaieteur News libel trial, Winston Brassington tells court Nissel had sweeping powers for practically anything under the sun. $1 billion deal inked with Farfan and Mendez overseas company for Bartica and Lethem solar power plants. Stay tuned to stay informed.
You don't have to be a fountain of knowledge to help children with their schoolwork while they're at home. But you do have to be caring, understanding, loving, and patient. It's an unsettling time for everyone, but children still need a safe and secure environment. So don't overwhelm them with endless news items or problems. Keep them gainfully occupied and amused, exercised and rested. Protect our children. A message from the Child Care and Protection Agency, Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, and UNICEF.
And now for the news in detail. In December 2018, the former APNU-AFC government had taken an $11.6 million loan from the Inter-American Development Bank to improve the nation's capacity to effectively manage the oil sector. Now, a portion of that money was dedicated to developing a depletion policy. This is a crucial document that helps to slow or put a brake on the aggressive rate at which oil companies extract and sell the nation's oil and gas resources. With such a policy in place, experts have opined that it would give Guyana the time it needs to properly build its capacity to regulate the sector. The policy, once implemented, would, for example, give Ghana the time it needs to develop the in-country skills necessary to properly audit ExxonMobil's expenses for the Stabroek block. However, since the APNU AFC signed onto the loan 2 years ago, this policy is yet to be produced. And moving on, while ExxonMobil, like all oil companies operating in Guyana, has the responsibility to relinquish sections of the oil blocks it owns, this oil major strategically positioned itself to regain an area it had relinquished years ago. This is according to a source. ExxonMobil has had the exploration rights to the Stabroek block since 1999. However, it could not have kept the entire block due to the relinquishment clause it has committed to in the agreement with the government of Guyana. This provision provided that the company would have to relinquish the parts of the block to the government at intervals. Relinquishment is provided for the Petroleum Act, in which it states that if an area is relinquished, the license ceases to have effect in relation to that area. In other news, the last words of a dying security guard who was found battered and sleeping on a blood-soaked cardboard behind his workplace were check the security cameras, and the cameras have everything. 43-year-old Bharat Das was discovered at around 5:30 on Friday, November 6th, on the back steps of Medicare Pharmacy located at Newmarket Street, Commingsburg. It was observed that the security guard bore what appeared to be a cut to the side of his head, while the other side was severely swollen. 5 days later, on Wednesday, November 11th, Das succumbed to his injuries. He never regained full consciousness to say what really took place. The matter was reported, and police commenced a thorough investigation into his death. We reached out to his employers about video footage, but they were reluctant to disclose information. And moving on, former NISL CEO Winston Brassington revealed that the articles of incorporation which guide the operations of the entity gives it broad and sweeping powers to do practically anything under the sun. Brassington made the statements yesterday while responding to questions posed by Kaieteur News lawyer Nigel Hughes in relation to a number of government projects. The statements were made during a continuation of the trial accusing the newspaper of libel brought by Brassington. He had sued Kaieteur News for libel over the Demboy Say articles, which he claims contained offensive and defamatory content against him. Let's tell you now that the Guyana Energy Agency on Wednesday inked agreements with Farfan and Mendes Limited and Sovereigntex Caribbean for the construction of 2 solar power plants in Bartica and Letham. The contracts are for the engineering, procurement, construction and installation and commissioning of solar photovoltaic power plants, including battery energy storage systems. The contracts are to the value of $1.98 billion. Both companies would have complied with the requirements necessary for the execution of the project. The duration for the completion of the 2 sites is estimated at 330 days. It is now 12:08. Coming up next, after the break, prison officers arrested for ganja found stashed in Lusignan barrack room, and in your COVID-19 update, 168 test positive at St. Cuthbert's as active cases reducing in Region 1. Stay tuned.
Some things in life are better together, like pepper pots and bread, like listening to oldies with your granny on weekends, like mashramani and costumes, like secret texts between best friends, like a road trip, and playing songs on loud.
At Digicel, we're bringing together more of all the experiences you love. The best and widest variety of music, podcasts and local radio, cloud storage, messaging and more. Welcome to Digital at Digicel. Digicel, better together.
Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. 2 prison officers have found themselves in hot water after 2 parcels of suspected cannabis were discovered in their barrack room. The officers, Quincy Gemot and Sion Alert, are under close arrest since the discovery was made. Both ranks were placed under close arrest as the investigation is ongoing, and it is not the first time prison officers have been nabbed with narcotics. It is said to be big business. And moving on, the laborer who caused the death of a pensioner after he allegedly pushed him down during an argument was yesterday granted $200,000 bail. 33-year-old Rajendra Ramlal of Potentia, West Bank Demerara, was charged with manslaughter. He appeared before Magistrate Faith Magusti at the Wales Magistrates Court. Ramlal was not required to plead to the indictable charge, which alleges that on November 7, 2020, he pushed 63-year-old Ronald Hari Prasad, causing him to receive severe injuries. The pensioner died after. In other news, the Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlal have made it clear that the dismissal of public servants following the PPPC's government assumption into office in August was in compliance with the law. Nandlal also said that any dismissed public servant is free to challenge their dismissal. Following the conclusion of Guyana's 5-month-long election process and the government taking office, a number of public servants were sent packing. The APNU-AFC, now in opposition, on many occasions accused the PPPC government of discrimination in their firing of government employees. In other news, more than 2,500 households in Eccles and surrounding areas on the east bank of the Demerara will soon benefit from an improved water quality. This is as a result of ongoing water quality improvement works at the Eccles Water Treatment Plant, which serves residents of Eccles, Bagotstown, Republic Park, Nandi Park, Republic Gardens, and Windsor Estates. The Guyana National Bureau of Standards, or GNBS, will start monitoring electrical fittings and equipment from January to ensure defective goods are not sold on the local market. Public Relations Officer Lloyd David said the Bureau has developed 30 national standards for these apparatuses, which will be used for monitoring. The GNBS said it has advanced work on creating the standards as faulty equipment can cause injury and fires. And now for your COVID-19 update. The Ministry of Health is administering more tests in St. Cuthbert's Mission, even as restrictions remain in place to curb transmission of COVID-19. This is according to Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony. He said the cases can be controlled, but for this to happen, residents must self-isolate, reduce social activity, and practice social distancing. The minister highlighted that the main entrance and exit in the community are being monitored and they are deterring residents from going out. The Ministry of Health yesterday announced Guyana's 138th COVID-19 death, a 61-year-old male from Region 4. The ministry also reported 44 new COVID-19 cases yesterday, which brings the total number of confirmed cases to 4,662. 11 persons are in the COVID-19 ICU, as 56 are in institutional isolation, and 839 persons are in approved home isolation, while 29 persons are in institutional quarantine. More than 200,000 Region 4 and 5 residents are to start receiving the government's $25,000 per household COVID-19 relief cash grant over the next 2 weeks. Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, Nigel Dharamlal, made this disclosure during a meeting with the Region 4 RDC. The minister urged the councillors to inform the residents about this development since hiccups are likely given the region's population. Several teams, including police officers, will soon begin registering households. The minister cautioned the councillors not to do any registration. The number of worldwide coronavirus cases has reached 53.3 million, while deaths at 1.3 million and recovery cases has reached 37.3 million people. And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. Remember, the news came to you with the compliments of Predo Baby. I am Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Let December 2020 be one to remember. Drive away with an Axio car from Predo Baby with 4 different options to win. Follow us on Facebook at Predo Baby South America. Predo Baby diaper is known for its premium quality and high absorbency level. It keeps your baby dry and comfortable with its stretchy waistband. Available in regular paste and pull-up pants style from newborn to stage 7. See press for details or contact us on 233-2473. Predo Baby, the diaper of the new generation.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your